Hey, it's Dan. Welcome back. You're watching iAllegedly. And I've got a good one for you today because I am at a place called Newport Dunes. And it's got a boat launch over here. It's got a campground. It's got a beach area. It's just very cool. But we're getting warning after warning from people this morning on inflation and on what they're going to do to fix it. And there is a ton to cover today. Before I get into it, please take a second. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. And don't forget, guys, if you are on our email list, we had an email go out yesterday. Check your spam filter if you don't have it yet. And if you want more exclusive content, there is Patreon. And oh, and one other thing. We have our second channel, which is iAllegedly Live. And this is designed for you to watch us live because we're going to start having live streams, and you need to sign up for that. The link will be below. Just click on it, subscribe to the channel, and that way you'll get notified when there's live streams. And we have at least 2 scheduled for September, which is really cool. But let's get into it. First things first, the International Monetary Fund has issued a warning about inflation, and that inflation is going to be a huge problem going down the road. And well, now it is, guys. Now that you guys have been utterly destroyed by inflation, your business, your families, and we haven't seen anything yet. And they're admitting that we haven't seen anything yet, that inflation is only going to get worse, and they're concerned. Now, along with that is the Bank of International Settlements that steps forward. And the Bank of International Settlements steps forward and says that we're going to have an inflation aftershock. And it's going to be an absolute huge problem when it comes to worldwide global inflation because of the printing press of just giving everybody free money and lending free money and doing everything that it has. It has a price, and it's going to make things more expensive. Economics 101. Now, that should concern each and every one of us, to say the least. But let's step forward to a couple other people, and that is Thomas Barkin, who's one of the members of the Richmond Fed. He said the same thing, exact same quote of an aftershock of inflation, which makes zero sense. Now, as I go to this boat area, it's early, and people out here, check this crazy thing out here, guys. Look at this round thing. Look at that, like spaceship type boat. Isn't that funky? If it was cleaned up, it'd be kind of fun, But again, some hillbilly round boat stuff. So, Thomas Barkin, an inflation aftershock. Again, you cannot make this stuff up because the Fed is committed to getting inflation back down to 2%. Who believes that? Who believes that? A friend of mine recommended a brand new barbecue restaurant. And how about this? You go in there and it's a nicer restaurant, and all the prices were written on the wall in chalk. And I'm like, hey, that's cool. And the manager came over, and again, I think they got kind of tipped off. Hey, this guy's going to come from YouTube. He's going to come by and eat here. Anyways, the manager was all over me, and I said, you got to answer this question. Why is everything in chalk? Oh, prices are getting changed daily, like it's market price for barbecue. So the thing that floored me was, how about this? 1 pork spare rib, okay? So guys, think about baby back rib, one of them, $3.95 for 1 rib, which again, nobody can afford. And the food was great. The prices were just outrageous to eat. And I don't know how places are going to make this right now when you've got situations like that where you just can't make it. So the next one is somebody that we've talked quite a bit about in the channel, and that is the clown in chief, Jim Cramer. Now, this man has no shame. This man has led people down paths that where they've just lost money with their investment club. It is ridiculous that this man steps forward today and says, hey, listen, I've never seen the Fed like this. He's like a prize fighter, ready to go into the ring and take care of business. This is Jim Cramer saying this, that Jerome Powell's going to get inflation down to the lowest level we can see, and it's his #1 priority. Well, why is it the priority now, guys? Do you believe that? I don't believe that for a second. I don't believe, if it would save my life, I wouldn't believe that Jerome Powell's going to fix inflation. I just don't believe it at all. So, we got Jim Cramer, talking about this now. So it just makes no sense. And I'm out here really early, guys. So, it's kind of quiet. This is really cool because they've got this bridge that goes over the entire Newport Dunes that you can ride your bike across, walk across. And this is a family area. There's no waves. It's inside the bay. So, you've got picnic areas and you've got just a nice swimming area that's out here. And there's a section over there with a bunch of inflatables that they have, like obstacle courses and things like that people can rent and stuff like that. We're going to see horrific times right now. And what I mean by that is the next big problem will be the evictions in the months of September and October. You're going to see, it is estimated at 3.8 million evictions are going to happen in the next 60 days. How do they know this? Because of all the filings and everything that's going to happen. And this is the beginning of the floodgates that are going to be a huge, huge problem for the economy. Now, here's the thing. One thing we've talked about is the moratoriums. We've talked about, rental assistance and all this stuff. People are just at wit's end. But again, right now, people are having a huge problem paying their bills, just getting by. And you're seeing more and more people live together. You're seeing more and more people that have to do things to just survive. And I get it, okay? I get people that write me, and I get people, that have various amounts of money. Let's just put it that way. And what we're seeing is that there is just a huge problem making ends meet. But the biggest problem is that people are not being given a full-time shifts. They're not being, their hours are being cut back. Their benefits are being cut back. Nobody's talking about that. But 3.8 million, evictions. Now, let's say that let's just use a third to a half of those are houses and not apartments. You're going to see landlords that are just fed up. They're going to absolutely get out of the landlord business. And I've talked to a lot of landlords who just say, I just can't do this. We cannot, the idea of a second home was our retirement. The idea of a second home was to, create wealth. And what they've created is, a financial obstacle. Now, again, nothing worth doing is easy, and being a real estate landlord is not easy. But as you see this, you're going to start seeing, these landlords bail out of this business. Now, think about this. How many of these landlords are going to quit and say, I'm selling this place now? And again, the majority of them can't sell things with the tenant in there that's not paying their rent. So what's the number? I think it's going to be something like 20%. So you could see basically 700,000 to 800,000 extra houses on the market right now that weren't on the market, 60 days ago. Is that going to affect everything? It should. It should affect it dramatically. There's so much happening with business news all the time. It's just constant right now. And, these central banks that got together last week after Jerome Powell spoke about inflation, why is inflation now on the forefront of everything? Because they're not fixing it, and it's such a lie. And we're supposed to believe Jim Cramer. Who would follow an ounce of that guy's advice? I mean, talking about zero credibility. Seriously, none. He just has none. And all these evictions, and something's got to be done about this. And okay, well, what's going to be done, Jimmy? Nothing. After the evictions, we're going to see massive foreclosures. Unbelievable amounts like we've never seen in our lifetime. And I believe that. I believe that the lie that there's a housing shortage is going to bite everybody in the butt, okay, to say the least. And the one thing that I get a kick out of with all of this is they act like we're 5. And he won't remember. We're not going to go to Disneyland. Don't worry about it. No. We're adults, guys, and everybody knows how bad things are right now. And everybody knows that, they told us there was a housing shortage. Well, you're about to learn that there are over 1 million houses that are going to be, incomplete and on the market that builders aren't going to finish. And you're going to go see builders go bankrupt left and right. Why is it that I have to get news out of Australia from Sky News and all these other people talking about the Australian uh, uh, real estate market and construction industry from other markets? They're not talking about it here because that's what's going to happen here. And the people in Australia know it. They share it with me and they say, Dan, it is so bad. And people are going bankrupt left and right, left and right, left and right. I'm telling you, I could do stories every day about bankruptcies in the construction industry in Australia, and now in the UK, we're starting to see these problems. Well, again, guys, this will be a global depression that we're heading into. And, oh, you're so, so negative, and you just, all you do is talk gloom and doom. Guys, everything's attached to us. There's a story below on everything. So share your thoughts on this stuff because it's just getting worse right now. It really is. I briefly hit on restaurant craziness, and it was recently sent to me something absolutely outrageous with the restaurant Macaroni Grill. Prices have gone up at Macaroni Grill, but one thing that they've added to their checks is an inflation spike charge for $2 a check. So if you're eating there by yourself at lunch, or you are there with a group of 20, you get a $2 charge for inflation. Now, you're also paying higher prices for inflation, but that's the new inflationary charge that they're adding per check. That's nuts, guys. It's absolutely crazy. Here in California, we are seeing that the unemployment fund that pays people's unemployment is bankrupt right now. And it is completely upside down by billions of dollars right now. Now, in researching this, think about this. Hoover, Social Security and everything else he invented, one thing was unemployment. So if you lost your job, you'd have a little bit of money to get you by between now and when you found your next job, because your job should be looking for a job. And people don't do that. They live on unemployment. One thing that we saw during the health crisis was that, look at that sun coming up. Isn't that cool? One thing that we saw during the health crisis was that people were paid more to be on unemployment than they ever got paid at their jobs. And you saw people making, over $1,000, a week for crazy, just crazy unemployment numbers. Well, now it's upside down here in California. And the unemployment fund was set up as a way for employers to contribute to make sure that workers were protected during this time. Wow, that is really bright. It's really cool to see this, but it's definitely bright. One thing that people write me about a lot is questions about grants and getting money like that. And one thing you have to be aware of are grant scams. And somebody sent me a story about a woman that was told she could get a grant for her business if she paid this $1,000 fee. I have never heard of such a thing. And again, it was a scam, so she got cheated out of the $1,000. And guys, 99% of the time, you don't have to pay anything to get a grant. And grants are a great way to get funding and a great way to get something you don't have to pay back. But again, don't pay for anything. Hanging out, it's nice, man. I have been here to where you couldn't walk through here. There were so many people. There's a concrete path up on top that you have to walk through, and that's really, really peaceful to be out here so early. We got warnings from two of the most conservative people when it comes to banking. Michael Hartnett is the chief economist for Bank of America, and Michael Wilson is from Morgan Stanley. And these two guys are, they might as well be friends. They might as well hang out and live together, because these guys basically shed and share the exact same news, and that is that the economy is in a bear market and we've got a real problem. But these guys both stepped forward after the Jackson Hole debacle with Powell and with the central banks, And these two guys stepped forward and said, wait a second, what did you guys expect? You just finally got real life news from Jerome Powell. We finally got, notification that things are bad and there's going to be many more problems. But these two guys are predicting that the problems that we're going to see are just much worse. And the stock market's going to take a huge hit. Now, the stock market's going to go up, it's going to go down. Nothing goes up or down in a straight line. There's going to be days where you're going to see it pop up a few hundred points. But overall, these guys are talking about how the market is going to be an absolute in bad shape, and it's going to be a debacle for the average investor. So get ready for that and be prepared for that. And again, the story's below from these two individuals. We keep hearing problems with landlords raising the price of rent unexpectedly for tenants. Now, you need to know what your local rights are. And here in California, it's very simple. They can give you 30 days notice to raise your rent. They can't give you 2 days notice. It doesn't work that way. If the guy's a criminal, he can do that. Now, think about this. If you live in a unit for more than 2 years, you're considered a long-term tenant and they have to give you 60 days notice before they can raise your rent. Now, the thing about that is if they give you the 60 days notice, all bets are off. You've got some areas where you've got rental limits and the most that they can raise it. And we're seeing that be tested all over the place. The other thing that they can do here in California is they can say, listen, I know you've lived here 5 years, 10 years. We want to renovate the unit and you have to move out. You got 60 days. They can give you 60 days notice to move out. Check your local laws and what it is, because people need to, understand what it is. And just, one woman here in Hawaiian Gardens had lived in, the city for over 10 years, and they wanted to double her rent overnight. And then she fought the eviction, and it was $1,200 was her rent, and they wanted to raise it to $2,400. And now she's been given a 1-year lease at $1,200. Now, the woman is on a fixed income. It's a sad story, but think about how bad that's going to be, that relationship with that landlord. She won the lawsuit, and now she's going to get a year's rent at $1,400. So, I don't think she's going to live there on, 12 months and 1 day from now. Trent lives in Canada, and Trent is experiencing the same thing that so many other people are experiencing in Canada, and that is high energy prices. Trent sent me a copy of his gas bill, and he's got a big house, and during the winter months, which I have friends that live in Canada, it seems like it's winter all the time, but that's just me. It costs him $500 a month to heat his house, which is a lot of money. The gas company just informed him that your anticipated bill is going to go up to $1,115 a month. So, wow, that's a lot. And a big jump. But here's the thing. Would you rather be notified of a problem in advance like that, or not be notified of a problem like that in advance? Because I'd rather be notified, but that's just sick, guys. It really is. This place is really beautiful. You've got these campgrounds. This is the backside of Newport Dunes. They've got these grass areas that you can rent. If you had a big event, you've got all that stuff that you can take advantage of. But it's just really beautiful. And again, I've never seen it this quiet. So it's just really nice because it's just, nobody out here right now. Business right now is very difficult. And, so many people write me about, hey, Dan, what would you do? We want to start this type of business. What do you think about that? And one business was one of those bars and restaurants that you throw the axes on. And this one man wrote me, and he had 2 investors with him. And what did I think about it? Well, I think during a normal economic time when people have extra money, that they can go out and they can, spend it on things like that. Right now, I don't think so. I just don't think that people are going to be able to spend that money. Plus, the expense of running a restaurant right now, and when I talk to every restaurant owner, even that little barbecue place from yesterday, they were just telling me how expensive everything is, how uncertain it is too. So I wouldn't be investing in anything. And the one crazy thing that we're seeing right now is we are seeing commercial rents have not even hit the bottom yet. We have not seen people getting kicked out yet, all the evictions and all the problems. And again, that's coming. But with that, you're going to finally see landlords have to do one thing, and that will be lower their price, to say the least. So we're about to see that happen eventually. What, 60 days, 90 days? When you start to see the evictions in all the residential areas, when does commercial catch up to it? Because I think it's, going to be minutes away. So got a guy with a card here. Morning. So a man named Steve Hanke from Johns Hopkins University, he's a finance professor. He says that Jerome Powell is an idiot and doesn't understand what inflation is and has no concept of how to fix it, and that you're going to see more and more problems with inflation before it gets better because the guy in charge steering the boat is an absolute imbecile. And he said it would take an absolute miracle to eliminate a recession. And again, guys, we're in a recession right now. We're in a recession. Oh, it's a technical recession, Dan. It's the math, and you can sit there and say we're down, and they adjusted the gross domestic product, the numbers up a little bit. Guys, see, that's the first flight of the day. That's the first flight of the day, and they have limitations here, but this will just go every 15 minutes. La, 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 la. So, sorry about the noise of the plane, but that's what you have to expect to when you live in this beautiful area. So, the other one is a man named Stephen Morse, and Stephen Morse said that we're going to see by the way, Stephen Morse is he's the former CEO of Morgan Stanley Asia. So another lightweight, another guy that we just shouldn't listen to. He just says that to talk about inflation being curtailed and cut down to a 2% level is laughable, and that these people understand that it's going to be nothing but a problem in the coming months, and that it is absolutely crazy to think about. So, we got that to look forward to. All these warnings, get yourself ready. Everything's, a concern right now. Now, one thing that we have heard about, to where I'm vomitous about this, is that the potential for a central bank-backed digital dollar. Well, Lael Brainerd, the number 2, look at this, another plane right there, guys. I guess it's less than 15 minutes. When you fly out of John Wayne Airport, they're backed up. Like, I've done that first flight of the day to San Francisco before, and literally you're on the tarmac and there's like 9 or 10 planes that are just waiting in line to get off, and as soon as they give you the clearance, you're going. So, oh my gosh, there's another one after that too. It's crazy. So, sorry for the airplane noise. Can't do anything about that. But Lael Brainerd just announced that within 1 year, we're going to have something called FedNow. FedNow will be a clearing payment that will make it so that you will be able to pay bills instantly. And it's going to originate with the banks and with large institutions so that they can pay each other and the Fed can clear it instantly. Not a day like, hey, it clears tonight at midnight. None of that shenanigans. Instantly. And if this works out, it's supposed to be set up by July 2023, but most likely it's going to be set up by May of next year. You will not have the need for a digital dollar. Wow. So that's crazy, guys. Some worthless trivia with this. When these planes fly overhead like this, they have to have their engines cut back a little bit too. So these are not nearly as loud as they would normally be, which is funny to think about because they're so loud. Now, a couple of Elon Musk stories. Elon Musk said that he is going to subpoena the whistleblower in the Twitter case, because the whistleblower that stepped forward last week, the one that they said was an idiot and they made fun of, he said that this guy has covered everything that he had mentioned in the lawsuit that they've tried to hide from him. So timing's kind of perfect for that. Elon Musk also lost 20 pounds and looks very svelte right now because he does fasting, and he likes that. So, okay, who knew? Final thing is Mike writes me, and Mike wrote me about refinancing his house and paid off a bunch of bills and bragged, okay, about his 5.99% interest rate. Now, guys, think about this. Mike is in a good spot. He's got a huge amount of equity, he told me, in the house, so he's not worried about that. But his interest rate is 5.99%. 5.99%. And he's got one payment, got rid of all his bills. He's got the house payment. Now he's got insurance and he's got, his utilities and things like that. But Mike's happy with that. If he would have done this a year ago, 2.78. So Mike's paying a lot more for this, but Mike is happy. Is that smart? Please don't forget to hit the like button on the video. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Again, the latest email just went out yesterday. Please check your spam filter. If you want more exclusive content, there is Patreon. Onward and upward, guys. I will see you guys very soon.